Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is David. If you are new here, hi, welcome. And if you have been watching my videos for a while now, welcome back. So today I'm going to be reviewing Binti Home, which is the second novel in the Binti trilogy. I read the first book, which is simply called Binti, last year. And I enjoyed it so much. It's a novella because it's only 100 pages long. This one is slightly longer at 160-ish, 170-ish pages long, so it's a bit longer. I enjoyed the main character of Binti and this whole situations and world that she actually comes from, but I'll go through that in more detail later. I read this as for a readathon I am taking part in and also co-hosting as well, called a Bookworm's New Year Readathon. And the prompt that this book fulfills is a book written by a POC, person of colour. This is written by a lady called Nnedi Okorafor, who is a black woman who was born in America, and her parents originated from Nigeria. So just so you're aware, this is what the bingo card currently looks like now. As you can see, I've only got one prompt to fulfill, but technically I have already done so. I just need to record my video for it and upload that video. So technically I've already completed this readathon. But yeah, this is what the bingo card currently looks like right now. So this novel was originally published on the 31st of January 2017. So it came out a couple of years after Binti, which was released in 2015. And the genre of this book is a science fiction story, but it's more YA than an adult novel. So because this book picks up straight away from where the first book left off, and it does mention events that happened in the first novel, I will be mentioning events that actually happened in the first book because they simply are constantly referred to and referenced in this book. So if you haven't read the first novel, then there may be some spoilers for that in this book, as it's more of a continuation from that story. But if you read the first novel, I'm not really going to give any spoilers away for this book. And also, this is going to be my own thoughts and feelings regarding this novel. So, as I said, this book is a direct continuation from the first novel. Just a little reminder, in the first book, Binti is a member of a tribe that is living on Earth. This tribe is called the Himba, who are always on Earth and they never leave Earth for whatever reason. They always stay on on that planet, and they never go anywhere. They are very deep rooted in their traditions and their superstitions and their beliefs. They, when people from other planets come to Earth and mingle with the Himba tribe, they kind of put up with it. They don't really like it, as they don't really like to mingle with other people, but they kind of put up with it. So in the first book, we saw Binti leaving her planet. It happened on the first page. We didn't really have a chance to connect with the Himba tribe or have time on Earth. She just immediately went onto a rocket and went to a university called the Ozma University. Hopefully I'm saying it right. She went there to study and be more educated, and I liked it in that novel about how she was mingling with other cultures and communities and people from different planets and walks of life and cultures and all that type of stuff. And it was a very good book about how someone was kind of I wouldn't say looked down upon, but kind of observed, like in a very strange way, that they came from from another culture and no one really knew about how to interact with Binti and accept her. In the book, she is in a spaceship which gets attacked by a alien race called the Mijus. Again, hopefully I've said it right. She's a sole survivor. She kind of brought peace at the end of the book, and but loads of people, everyone on the ship died apart from her. And she also befriended one of these aliens as well. called Okyu or Okru. I'm not really sure. I will put it up here. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right, but that's where the book. But I mean, that's the whole book. So so Binti Home starts off with Binti at Ozma Uni, where she's studying, and she feels some changes in her body, and she knows that she has to go back home. At the beginning of the book, at the beginning of the book, we found out that the Mijus kind of put a part of their DNA into Binti's body, and it kind of made her a hybrid of so she's half Himba and she's half Mijus. So she's more she gets angry a lot in this book, but she tries to suppress her emotions and tries to control them. Her hair, which was originally dreadlocks, is tentacles, so they're constantly moving around by themselves. And she can also talk to her alien friends by forms of telepathy. She can, she can think something in their mind without saying it, and they can communicate back and forth, which they do in several times in this book. So Binti knows that she has to go back home, and she says that she wants to go home specifically for a pilgrimage, which pretty much is a group of Himba women from the Himba tribe walk in the desert for several nights by themselves, and they do this, as far as I'm aware, to prepare themselves for their future lives. Because Himbas, for the women of the Himba tribe, they seem to be really dedicated into finding a male and getting married and being a wife and all that type of jazz. They don't really seem to be really concerned about having their own identity. Their main goal is about having a husband, having children, and basically being a wife, and not really having a identity for themselves. And when Binti left the planet of Earth in the first book, she kind of turned her back on that tradition of her tribe, and it resulted in men in that tribe not really wanting anything to do with her. And she knows that she won't ever find a husband that will probably accept her for who she is. And that's really fine with Binti. She's a very independent woman. She's very courageous and caring. But throughout this book, she's constantly tormented by the events that happened on the spaceship, which is called the Third Fish, which so happens to be the ship that she goes, which takes her back to Earth. It's very weird because the Third Fish isn't really like a strict metal spaceship like Star Wars or Star Trek or anything like that. It seems to be a character or a creature of its own. It seems to be, because when it goes back to Earth, it's implied that it's going to give birth to another to its own child. So I do not know if this Third Fish spaceship is a living creature, but it's implied that it is. So Binti decides to go back home because she wants to take part in this in this pilgrimage. It's supposed to be very relaxing and makes, as I said, it's supposed to prepare the women in the Himba tribe for their future lives. There's also an element in this book, or a term in this book, that's referred to numerous times called treeing or tree. I'm not really sure about what this is. I think it's a form of meditation that Binti does in order to relax and calm herself down. If you, again, if I'm wrong, let me know down below. I probably am, but let me know down below what treeing it means in this novel. Another thing in this book that I've picked up, which is referred to in an insane degree, is Binti's obsession and interest with maths, with her mathematics. She's constantly doing mathematics equations in her minds, which she does as a form of pleasure and as a form of relaxing herself and calming herself down. I didn't really pick up on her love of maths that much in the first book. It might have been mentioned once or twice, but it's mentioned loads of times in this book that you can easily pick it up and actually notice it. Anyway, Binti and her alien friend go back to Earth, and when they get there, her friend is, because he's from a species that went to Earth and there was a war, and he's the first member of that species to go back to Earth in a peace. He doesn't really go there to make any fuss. He's just there to actually support Binti and him as a friend. Even though he looks differently, he does have a like a scorpion spike thing, on his back, and he does look different. And this results in people on the Earth confronting him. He does actually get shot at several times, and he is referred to as it, as a form of creature, it, or a monster in this book. Even Binti refers to him as it. Even though he does have a name, he does have a consciousness, he can speak. I found this really weird, especially from Binti's point of view, as they are really close friends. I can understand it when it comes to members of the Himba tribe, but coming from Binti, it seemed to be a bit weird. Binti and her friend go back to her family's home, and they have a massive meal and a celebration, and all hugs and kisses, and oh, I'm so happy that you're here. Her mum and her parents and her sisters and her family and brothers all seem to be happy that she's there. They've kind of forgotten why she actually left, but as time goes on, we find out that they are extremely resentful about why she actually left Earth, as she was supposed to take over her father's shop. Her father is extremely ill. He collapses at one moment in the book, and people are, I think one of her sisters confronts her and says, it's all your fault, our father's like this, you should have been the one that took over his shop, why did you leave? Even her best friends, which I believe is in the first book, doesn't really make an appearance in this book. He does actually call Binti on a kind of like a cell phone type of thing, and then she can see her, his picture, and they can talk, that way. But she's actually never really sat down by any of her friends or family and just had a discussion, and they never really. I would have liked it if they talked with each other or had a discussion about why she done this and talked about her adventures. But I don't know if that could have been that exciting to actually read. I don't know. Binti does get extremely upset with this confrontation with her sister, which results in her spitting in her sister's face, which isn't very nice. But the next time that we see her family and her sister, they kind of forgotten about it and forgiven each other, which is nice, as they don't really hold a grudge. They probably have calmed down by that point, anyway. Binti has actually seen a mysterious figure when she's looking out of her bedroom window. This figure is called the Night Masquerade. I think it's what it's called. And as far as I'm aware, it's a massive stick figure. It's not really a person as such. It's more of a creature and an entity, which only shows itself to male, to actually men and boys in the Himba tribe, and it never really appears to anyone that's a female. I'm not really sure why. I know that it's the title of the third book, so maybe it's brought up a lot more or explained in more detail in the last book. But when Binti goes out and tries to see this creature, it's vanished. She's actually not even there anymore. She can't even see any footprints from the creature, like it wasn't even there in the first place. And then she comes across a group of people called the Desert People, which is like a nickname that the Himba tribe have actually given them. They see the Desert People as a form of savages, which aren't really nice people. They are barbaric in their minds, and they kind of take Binti with them. They say, "Oh, don't worry, we'll get her back in a couple of days." And I won't say what happens, but it's very unusual. When the ending of this book, again, don't worry, I won't say what happens, is very unreal and weird. It has a massive owl at the end, which is extremely weird, but really nice and calming to read about, if that makes sense. Probably doesn't. The ending, as I said once again, I won't say what happens, but it does actually end on a cliffhanger, which I cannot wait to read the last book, as it just ends on a cliffhanger, so I can't wait to see and actually read what happens next. So what I liked about this book is more explanations about Binti's homeland and the Himba tribe. It doesn't go super detailed into the traditions of the Himba tribe, but what I liked is it does actually focus a bit more on Binti as a character. We see her as a child, about how she used to go off into the desert, because the planet of the because the Earth is completely like a desert planet now. It doesn't have any water. It's just a desert planet, kind of like Arrakis in Dune. But we find out that Binti used to run away a lot and used to camp out in the desert, and she found a mysterious artifact called the Eden, which is like a small metal box which she always has with her. She's not really sure about what this item is, but we find out what it is, or to a certain degree anyway. And yeah, I just like Binti's character. It's more like grounded, and this is a really calming book to actually read. So what I disliked about this book isn't really a dislike, it's more of a preference about where I would have actually liked the story to actually focus more on, and that is the I would have liked to see Binti interacting more with her family and her friends, and having a discussion about why she left her planet in the first place, her time on the third fish and at Ozma Uni, and her confrontation with the Meduse, and like having them like come around and understand about why she did what she actually chose to actually do in the first place, and try to not really agree with it, but kind of accept it. But I understand about why Nnedi didn't go that route, as it probably would have been a bit boring. But I would have liked like maybe like a chapter of that to actually focus more on, if that makes sense. So in conclusion, this is a really relaxing read. As I said, this is a direct sequel from the first book. So if you haven't read the first novel, then you won't understand. Well, you will understand, but it will bring up references from past events from the first book, and you won't really appreciate it or even understand certain parts of it. But if you've read the first book, this is pretty much the same as the first book, but it expands on the story as Binti's character as a whole. And this is, as I said, this is a really relaxing and calming read. It's not really action-packed at all. It's but it's a very nice, calming book. So when it comes to what I'm going to rate this book, I was torn. I was originally going to give it 3 stars and then 4 stars. But I'm going to currently give this book a 3.5 stars. I was nearly going to give it a 3 stars, but I had I had really a fun time reading this book, so I'm going to give it a 3.5 stars out of 5. So that's it, guys. That is my review on Binti Home by Nnedi Okorafor. If you've enjoyed the video, please give it a like. Comment down below, let me know if you have read this, if you've enjoyed it, if you didn't enjoy it. Let me know if this is something that you would be interested in reading and picking up. If you have any questions, just let me know down below and I will do my best to answer them. If you've enjoyed this video as a whole, please consider subscribing, as it helps out a lot. If you do subscribe, please click on the little bell notification, just so you know whenever I upload videos, which are every Monday and Friday. And I will also link down below a link to my Goodreads account in case you want to follow me on Goodreads. And with all that said, have a great day, read some awesome books, and I will see you all in my next video.